Well, around 1260, the Mongols, which have created the largest empire ever created in human history, are the new conquerors of the area which is called Iraq today. They arrive in a region where, after having been living during centuries together, Syriacs, which are more or less the Christians, and Arabs, more or less the Muslims, have shared their knowledge, their culture. The Christians are now also speaking Arabic, which is a vernacular language spoken, the standard native language in the region. So, this is the picture before the Mongol conquest. The Mongol conquest happens, and the first Mongol emperors are quite favorable to the Christians. You remember the Nestorians of the Persian church. During all these years, they didn't just sit around and wait. On the contrary, the Nestorians had a very missionary spirit. They went as far as India, as far as China, as far as Mongolia. So, Mongol emperors were favorable to Christianity. They even had Christians in their family. Dokuz Khatun, the wife of the Mongol emperor Hulagu Khan, was Christian, Nestorian Christian. One of the greatest Mongol tribes, the Karaits, had converted to Christianity, to Nestorianism. So, when they conquered the territory of the former Persia, the Mongols removed this dhimmi status that the Christians had. But the Mongols were not only favorable to the Christians, they were very open in general to the religion of the people they conquered. In reality, they were quite curious about religion, and each Mongol emperor had his own beliefs. The successor of Hulagu was Buddhist, then came Tekuder, who was Muslim, then came Arghun, who was baptized as Christian but then was Buddhist, and so on. And the successor of Hulagu, called Ghazan, decided that his empire had to choose an official religion. In fact, just a few years after the Mongols had conquered Iraq, there was a succession war. And following this war, the Mongol Empire had been divided in 4 empires. And this successor of Hulagu, Ghazan, was the emperor of the part called the Khanate. And Ghazan in 1295 decided that his empire had to choose one, and only one, religion as the official religion of the empire. So there were many delegations sent by the Nestorians in order to convince Ghazan, in order to encourage him to choose Christianity. But finally he adopted Islam. He made Islam the official religion. Ghazan himself was quite respectful of the other beliefs, but overall the pressure on the minorities increased significantly. But it is Timur, 100 years later, who destroys everything linked to the Nestorian or Jacobite churches. The clergy is annihilated, the churches destroyed, and the Christians have been exterminated or drove away. It's not only the Christians who have suffered from Timur. He is known to have been applying the terror strategy, killing millions. But for Christians living over there is a before and an after Timur. Previously to his reign, the Jacobites, but especially the Nestorians, represented major branches of Christianity. Afterwards, they were vulnerable, injured minority with most of its heritage destroyed. There were nearly no more Christians in Baghdad. They were confined in northern Iraq and southeast Turkey. In the Iraqi area, the Timur Empire does not last long and is replaced by the Turkomans, by the Safavids, and then around 1535 by the Ottomans. And the Ottomans had a particular organization which gave to the minorities a specific degree of autonomy through the millet system. Each minority received a minister who could speak to the Sultan. The Christian minorities are all going to be put under the tutelage of the largest Christian minority at the time. In the Ottoman Empire, it was the Armenians. So all the Christians are going to be under the tutelage of the Armenian Patriarchate. So, which Christian minority did we have under this Armenian Patriarchate? We had the Nestorians and the Jacobites, as we've seen. But we had more than that under the Ottoman Empire, because during all these years the Universal Church didn't just stand by. During the Crusades, the Catholic Church of Rome sent missionaries to discuss with the Jacobite and Nestorian churches. They tried to bring them back to Rome. It didn't work. But during the Ottoman Empire, the Catholic Church sent missionaries again, with much more success this time. So here are the two churches that we had in Iraq before the era of the Ottoman Empire. The Greek term for Universal Church, by the way, is Katholikos. The Universal Church is, in fact, the Catholic Church. The Nestorians are going to split in two. Some are going to refuse to enter in the Universal Church, and some are going to enter into it. The church which refused to enter and which stayed 100% Nestorian is now called the Church of the East, while the other is going to be called the Chaldean Church, and the same for the Jacobites. Those who did not enter in the Universal Church are called members of the Syriac Orthodox Church, and those who entered in the Universal Church are members of the Syriac Catholic Church. The old churches keep their theological beliefs, Diophysism and Monophysism, while the new Chaldean and Syriac Catholic churches now admit the Trinity mystery. There we get the four traditional churches that we can meet in Iraq. The monk of Marmatai, for instance, that we briefly saw in the introduction, is Syriac Orthodox, which means that he is a Christian, believing in monophysism, and part of a community which never decided to integrate the Church of Rome. In this interview, those Christians talk about their escape from Karakosh when ISIL invaded it. Karakosh, during the 18th century, was fully Syriac Orthodox. During the 19th century, it became Syriac Catholic. So those people are Syriac Catholics. The person who shows to me the Aramaic writings in Al-Kosh, or the children that we see running, are Chaldeans, which means that they are all ancient Nestorians who decided to join the Catholic Church. Nowadays, most of the Christian Iraqis are Chaldeans. I haven't met any Nestorian Christians, Christians from the Church of the Orient, but there are not many Nestorians left. They have suffered from the Assyro-Chaldean genocide, led by the Ottoman authorities at the same time as they led the Armenian genocide. And following that, the Nestorians have been persecuted by the Iraqi state. But this is contemporary. Now that we have described the history leading to those four forms of Christian movements, we can enter in our second part, the contemporary period. Just one last thing before I finish this video. I have created a website which is called foreignchronicles.com. So this is this website. The main objective of this website is to make you share what you do, because many people in the community write articles, for instance, they write books, they create projects. So I thought it would be very interesting for the community to know what they are doing and for them to present to the community what they are doing. So there is, for instance, a forum for that where you can share what you do, where you can discuss and get feedbacks from the others. There is a blog here where I post some stuff about the channel, about the website, but I would love to post some articles about what you have done, like some of your articles, some articles that you have written and that you feel are really could be really interesting for the community. I also want through this website to highlight some projects, so I call that spotlighted projects. So if you have a good project, an interesting project that you want the community to discover, then tell me, and if it's interesting, I'm going to put it on the front page of the website so that people can discover it, like this Strelok project, very interesting project. So I'm going to talk more about this website in another video. just about that. But yeah, I would love to get some of you on the forum, for instance, starting to interact with the forum. I'm going to be there with you on this forum. Yeah, that's it. So I'm really glad to present to you this website. That's it. Thank you for watching Foreign Chronicles, and à bientôt on the forum.